Fischer, Lee, and NUNES SILVA. NUNES SILVA of Brazil, but BRUINSMA and Fischer, the swimmers to watch, going in 4 and 5 respectively. BRUINSMA is the emerging talent at 16. She has swum already some fine times. 5:18 she's already posted earlier this year. Strong start for BRUINSMA of the Netherlands. Alongside her, Mary Fischer, already a gold medalist at these games. Very slow off the blocks for Guizhi of People's Republic of China, and looking to make up for it in the pool, while NUNES SILVA going out fairly hard. But it is in lane 4 where BRUINSMA is showing how strong her stroke is. They're just getting very close to one another, the swimmers in lane 5 and 6, Mary Fischer and Guizhi. And now Fischer just being overtaken by the Chinese swimmer, but on the turn Fischer makes up for it and comes out ahead of her opponents. But it is one swimmer to look out for in the lead. BRUINSMA is showing some real pace out front.
BRUINSMA really putting the marker down. I mean, this is a 400-meter race, and she is swimming it to make it look like a 100-meter race. If she can maintain this pace throughout the 8 lengths, this could be a challenging time to that world record. We saw the world record holder go in heat 1, but just not quite feeling her tapper there, and I think almost hitting the wall with her head. Liesette BRUINSMA might have just slightly upset her rhythm at the 100-meter mark, but that was a fast first 100, 110.53. Now going well in lane 7, NUNES SILVA for Brazil. The crowd reacting as the Brazilian turns in 2nd place, leaving Mary Fischer some work to do.
Well, this is Fischer and Guizhi. They are swimming very close to that lane rope, and every so often they tend to bump into that lane rope together. This 400 freestyle S11 is for swimmers with visual impairment, so the swimmers cannot see anything in the pool. They are trusting their instincts and their years of training. But at the moment, Mary Fischer just trying to straighten up and nearly going into the wrong lane. Guizhi in the turn, but BRUINSMA has found her stroke once again, and she's showing some real purpose in the pool.
And you can see BRUINSMA just lost some time on her turn at the 100-meter mark, just gave her a slightly slower split. And now she comes into the 200-meter turn, choosing to get very close every time, but dipping under the 40-second marker for that last 50, and is going to have to swim her own race from the front. Fischer now starting to establish 2nd place, and almost missing the wall. A very difficult turn for NUNES SILVA, and that's going to see her drop just behind into 4th after a strong turn from Qing out in lane 3. They're still going well in lane 4. BRUINSMA of the Netherlands coming up to the 250 mark, looking very relaxed through the turn, met the wall perfectly there, and back into her stroke. A little bit slower that last 50 meters, but the turns do affect the splits on this. So the swimming might actually be very consistent, but depending on exactly how they meet the wall, it will determine the actual split for that 50 meters. And BRUINSMA still looking very much in control. She's in the center of her lane and looking relaxed.
Well, the 100 backstroke champion Mary Fischer of New Zealand, going in lane 5, is holding on to 2nd, although Qing is managing to come back more through consistency in the turn than making up time in the pool. Inconsistency in the turn for the other competitors in the pool, but Liesette BRUINSMA, the 16-year-old from Vummels in the Netherlands, is swimming a smart race, and although she is not quite got the turns right in this race, she's proving to be so very strong in the pool. She puts in a good 20 hours a week.
Well, now just dropping off the pace ever so slightly. BRUINSMA starting to fatigue. Her stroke not looking as relaxed and tidy as it did early on. Struggling to maintain that straight line. The final turn now for the Dutch athlete. 150 metres left to go. Just coming off the wall, not completely straight, and hugging the lane rope now. She goes down the final 50 metres. This could well be a good time for BRUINSMA. Fisher firmly in second place at that final turn. And Qing from China having a good back end to the race.
Well, expect the orange-clad members of the audience to applaud wildly here as Liesette BRUINSMA will come home. She's only been competing internationally for 2 years. The 16-year-old Dutch swimmer is going to come home 5:20.04. And there are indeed the orange-clad army of the Dutch supporters. She's well ahead of any other swimmer. It's been a strong back 200 from Qing, but she touches behind Mary Fisher of New Zealand. And the 100 backstroke champion posting a time of just outside 5:30, with Guizhi just behind her. While Guizhi touches fourth fastest. The Brazilian swimmer SILVA touches to wide applause, but BRUINSMA victorious, a 5:20.04. So not her very best, but we mentioned that her turns were far from being helpful. A little work on the turns though. She's got the speed in the pool, and that's what's key. But she also needs to build a little strength and endurance, it seems, because while she's got the ability to go out hard, she wasn't able to sustain it in the back end and just slowed up a little.
Wasn't quite as consistent as she might have hoped, but she did find herself at clean water, managed to stay away from the lane rope, unlike Fisher, who was hugging the lane rope for much of that, alongside Li of China for the first half of the race. But you did see the stroke just start to waver slightly at the end there for Liesette BRUINSMA. Getting close to the lane rope, her stroke just shortening as the fatigue started to set in. She will be the second fastest sea, just outside the 5:20 marker. And just over 1 second slower than her personal best.
Confirmation then, Liesette BRUINSMA